Okay, this is weird problem number 3, and the problem says find the coefficient of x in the expansion of 1 plus x to the fourth times 2 minus 3x to the fifth. And I'm only looking for the coefficient of x squared. So here's what we do. We're going to start with the 1 plus x to the fourth, and we're going to recognize that the first term is 1, and the second term involves 1 to the third times x, and that the coefficient of that would be 4 choose 1, but that's just 4. Okay, and the next term after that will involve 1 squared and x squared, and the coefficient there would be 4 choose 2. 4 choose 2 is 6. Now, there are other terms in this, but I'm not going to write them down because they don't matter for the purpose of finding the coefficient of x squared. Okay, so now let's look at the second piece, which is 2 minus 3x to the fifth. Sorry about that. So what's the first term in that? The first term is 2 to the fifth. The second term is 2 to the fourth times minus 3x. And the coefficient there is 5. 5 choose 1. Now the third term will involve 2 cubed and minus 3x squared, and its coefficient will be 5 choose 2. 5 choose 2 is 10. And again, there'll be other terms which I don't care about. Okay, so now we're just going to clean this. Okay, we're going to clean this up a little bit now, and we're going to just figure out what each of these coefficients is. So this first polynomial is 1 plus 4x plus 6x squared, and then some other terms. The second is 32 minus 240x plus 720x squared, and then some other things. And I got that on my calculator. Okay, so let's go back to the question. The question says find the coefficient of x squared. So I imagine multiplying these two polynomials out. And if I were to multiply the 1 and the 32, well, that wouldn't give me a term involving x squared. Similarly, if I were to take the 6x squared and the 270x squared and multiply them together, that would give me x to the fourth. So the key to this question is to figure out what pieces I do need. Whoops. Trying to erase the underline. Okay, so what are the pieces I do need? And the first piece I'm going to need is this 6x squared times 32. That's definitely going to produce an x squared. So is the 720 times the 1. So those two things are definitely going to produce x squareds. And there's a third thing, which is the 4x and the minus 240x. That will also get a term involving x squared. So if I were to add these all up, I would have 720x squared from that first piece, this one. And then I would have 6 times 32, which is 192x squared. Yeah, 6 times 32, 1 times 720. And then the last piece is the 4x and the negative 240. And that's going to be negative 960x squared. So those are all the three terms. So if I add those together, I will get negative 48x squared. So that's the answer. The question is, what is the coefficient of x squared? And the answer is negative 48.